Good evening, I'm John Webb. Here's today's state news update. The grandparents of a 7-year-old boy who has been missing for months have asked a judge to grant them temporary guardianship of the child. Joshua JJ Vallow and his older sister, 17-year-old Tylee Ryan, were last seen in September. Their mother, Lori Vallow, has defied a child protection order directing her to produce the kids in Idaho, and police in the city of Rexburg say both Vallow and her new husband, Chad Daybell, have lied about the child's whereabouts. JJ's grandparents, Larry and Kay Woodcock, filed paperwork with the state last week asking to be his legal guardians once he returns. If granted, the temporary guardianship would last for 6 months. The Woodcocks aren't biologically related to Tylee and have no legal right to her, but Kay Woodcock said the teen also would be welcome to stay with them if she wanted. Child protection cases are sealed under Idaho law, so it's not clear if the court has taken any action since Lori Vallow failed to comply with the order. Failing to comply with such order could subject her to a contempt of court charge. A long-closed road built through grizzly bear habitat in northern Idaho will reopen following national security concerns. The U.S. Forest Service and the U.S. Department of Homeland Security announced the plan to reopen more than 5 miles of Bog Creek Road after years of discussion. The road was closed in the late 1980s to protect endangered grizzly bears roaming the area between Upper Preist Lake in Idaho and the Canadian border. The U.S. Border Patrol has asked the Forest Service since 2013 to reopen the road because of threats to border security. Neither agency specified the threats to security risks. The Forest Service is expected to install and repair culverts along the road and cut back trees and other vegetation that has come close to obstruction. According to AP, the road will not be open for public motorized use, but available for administrative use only to allow Customs and Border Protection to meet their statutory mission. Opponents of the project are considering legal action. The Forest Service published the final environmental impact statement on the Bog Creek Road project in February of 2019. A draft statement was published back in June. A panel of lawmakers on Tuesday removed standards for initial teacher certification. The House Education Committee voted to cut out the rules put forward by the Idaho State Board of Education. Republican Representative Gary Marshall said removing the overly burdensome rules would lead to more creativity and result in certifying more teachers for Idaho classrooms. Democratic Representative Steve Birch said removing the standards lowers the bar and could put unqualified teachers in the classroom. The arcane administrative rules process involves both the House and Senate. The rules would remain in effect unless the Senate also removes them. Should the Senate remove them, officials at the State Board of Education say they would likely meet up and come up with temporary rules. The House Education Committee abruptly adjourned after that vote without taking up rules involving math, science, and English language arts, which are part of the Idaho content standards and have come under criticism. Legislation granting an emergency water right when crews are trying to clean up spills in Idaho waterways passed the House on Tuesday and is headed to the governor's desk. The House voted 70-0 to approve the measure the State Department of Environmental Quality says is needed to prevent someone from contending their water right is being violated due to an emergency cleanup. The Senate unanimously approved the measure last month. Emergency crews pulling contaminated water from rivers after such things as tanker truck crashes and standard cleanup practice. But removing that water could be violating the state's strict water rights laws, where water distribution is closely monitored. For the State News Update, I'm John Webb.